Iiyoshi. Hello again. So far that we have been listening to the keynote speech of Professor Mazur, and also that we listened to the implementation case of Kyoto University, and also the constructive conceptual talks. But I would like to shed the light from the different issue, the PI's innovative educational method. But such method sometimes find it difficult to settle, or some of the lecturers or teachers find it difficult to change their own ways of teaching. So I believe that they sense this every day. But think different was a catchphrase of Apple years ago. So Jonathan Ive, one of the designers of the Apple, says like that it is easy to be different and very difficult to be better. Think different is fine, but however, if you do something different from that the others teach in a different way from others, sometimes does not lead you to the improvement. It is innovative, but may not be improvement. So it has to be different and good and better. That's very challenging and difficult to do. So I would like to be given about 10 minutes of your time and discuss how can we incubate, nurture, diffuse, and sustain the educational innovation. I would like to read the process of the three experts that we have heard so far. But the operation was successful, but the patient died, and this is quite a sort of ironical assessment of the new innovative teaching system. For example, teaching innovator has created the new approach and tried to get the living out of the papers. However, that the universities are not very happy with the innovative technology. That is very painful sometimes to see. And this is advanced technology based upon that digital resources, open education, open teaching materials, online video, as Professor Mazur said, are all disclosed, however, not very often used by teachers because, for one, these resources do not support my teaching approaches and they don't have time to memorize learned. And Michael Sandel's books is impressive. However, they said that no, that's great and that's it. That's nothing to do with me. Quite often happens. PI would like to. I hope that PI would not follow the same ways, and there are many persuasive opinions, so that I have hope. Well, on the left-hand side, this is a modern convenience, and this is one of the elements of the educational innovation: computer clicker and e-books. This can be very easily diffused. However, that how to take advantage of this to tell calls not technology but pedagogy. Pedagogy, but the culture is a very important element. This is Time magazine, and should schools bribe kids? Well, you see that just give that the money to the elementary school, that sure enough that the grade went up with all other elements equal. So we have to rethink that what is a reward to the students? Engagement, really? Or the involvement or enthusiasm, excitement they feel toward the class. But toward the end, well, they are excited, but the result may stays the same. Well, then what? What is a benefit of the teaching innology? You are full and you enjoy the meal, but totally less of lack of nutrients. That's also possible. And also that not easy to comprehend and use, even though that the good technology is developed, nobody uses. Because, like this, not easy to comprehend that the benefit of this, not user-friendly and unilateral and pushy. If you are really convinced that it is really good, but the other peers would like to evolve, but you are trying to revolutionize, and not easy to modify and reuse locally. I would like to come back to this, but the reuse locally is difficult to do. The more the innovative the technology is, and inertial frameworks. This is something to do with the culture. Teaching and learning is there is a tremendous shift of the teaching and learning. However, that if you are trying to prepare for the tomorrow's lectures, you automatically turn to the last year's material. For example, this is Dr. Karl Wyman's Nobel laureate's webpage that he used all the award money of the Nobel Prize and create this 7 years ago website, and they can subscribe to this, the free of charge of the simulation of the physics. That the red circle, please look at this red circle, and the educator resources is an accumulation of how. This is a suggestion to Karl Weimer's, the group people. This was a model procedure. That was a starting point. A little pushy, but it changed in 7 years' time. Rather than one-sided pushing to this now changed in the community side, and it's the same structure, similar structure. However, this is accumulation of all practitioners of the simulation of physics. Well, some of the teachers are using not for the classroom, but the others lesson plans, and this such and such happened if I use such and such, and this is a shared information, not the proposals, but of the founders. That sometimes the intention differs of the using the simulation, or the local contents or the local uniqueness are reflected on this diversification. Also, that I would like to use this for the simulation for the other purposes of teaching, so that more and more that these are the devices to make that innovation user-friendly. This is the technology-enabled active learning of MIT. That when I said this to the Professor Matsushita, that I would like to emphasize that the technology not enabled. So 1-to-1, that teaching is sometimes fine enough. You don't need the technology even. So enabling and non-enabling active learning. I turn back to this quite often. The active learning is welcomed with enthusiasm, but this is the article of the New York Times. And the bulletin board says, and these are the MIT students responded, said that this is wonderful, and MIT is advanced and so forth. But that the students of MIT says that I'm taking the TO, but I don't like it. It's time consuming. And there was one comment of the students, or not one, but several comments. And the teacher says that some are very positive, some negative. And this is where some even said that is a waste of the time. From all over that the United States, the website flared up, exploded. And so active learning, the research-wise, as Dr. Mazzullo says, that yes, we do have that the data of effectiveness. Effective, however, the students don't like them, but half of the students said that the lecture is fine. They prefer lecture. So if there is such kind of diversity of the audience, how shall we try to entertain them as much as possible? That the brain is not functioning during the lectures, just as during the watching the TV. But while they are watching the TV, that we learn, although that our brains are not so active, for example. So how to coordinate and design the innovative technology that the learning, while the knowledge of the teaching and learning is very complex. As you can see, there are many elements are enmeshed with other. Well, this is not press one button and everything moves forward. So that we have to do a lot of trial and error, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. And I have been engaging in the development of the online pedagogy when I was working with the Carnegie Foundation. For example, the workspace, for example, the .NET, created the online community of the teachers, Dr. Masur does, and what are the learning point of the teachers that during their experience, and that the good understanding of the student toolkit is used, and also the good practices. Hall of Fame is created for gathering of the best practices. And the last section is an interaction. That is that locally connected communities and networks should be globally shared. And furthermore, that can be created or that used for the different communities' benefit. Okay, this is a framework we created, easier said than done. But anyway, that the knowledge, academic knowledges are accumulated so long as a tool is good enough to garner the information. However, that to create the forum is something that we have to create or to implement so that the really necessary information can be delivered to the people who really need them. So that is the challenges. So that this is a procedure that heals, and documentation is important like this for approving the progress of the TEAL, and the Kyoto University is taking over the successor of the MIT, and we are trying to promote these activities in our center. That the academic knowledge, for example, the Dr. Mazul learned, and through the trial and errors that he developed, and well, he is kind, generous enough to share with us. And if you take back this technology to apply to the physics, non-physics, in your own areas, that the use is that element. And you have to add a lot of device to this, and how to share your device ingenuity with other people. And only if you are successful with it, so you can depart to the create phase, and you can come back to the shares. And if the virtuous cycle starts to rotate, well, that the materials improves. And also, as a concept test of the Professor Mazur developed, and if the other people can use it, and they said that our students do not welcome them, so that they can improve that the usage of the materials in this diversified community. And with accumulation of this teaching materials, that the method of how to use the teaching material. So this accumulation is the ideal state. So let me skip this. As Dr. Mazul mentioned a lot, on the left-hand side, as you can see, these are learning catalytics. This is a computer-based wonderful tool. And just like the booking of the airplane seats, and here that the students, whether that, well, you can track that whether the student's answer is correct or wrong, and computer tracks this. This is that, well, if this person talks with the next person, this pair will give them the best result of the next question. So educational engineering can evolve like this. So it was an eye-opening experience for me. So right now, that Dr. Mazur is going all over the world and provide a workshop like this. But of course, that I hope that he will continue doing so. But the same contents may be disclosed at the peer.net. And online that we can create a community, or the knowledge can be shared online. So this kind of evolution already started, as we learned yesterday, for example, that when you jump to the Dr. Mazul of the .net, more than 480 questions are available, and you can have access freely to this. And if you use them, one of them or one or two of them, and you can report how they use it and the possible improvement on this, and inspection of the result. And if we accumulate one after another, and then it will be the great source of the improvement or the usage for that our younger teachers, and building the commons through the collective culture, which is very important. So we probably have to create the system of the educational concierge and the superior teachers and superior researchers, how to link with the actual practitioner is something that we have to take into consideration seriously. With many of the innovations coming up, that instead of using them as just a temporary fad, we have to link it to that the actual field of the education, and so everybody have to contribute and chip in and have to encourage each other, so that we can all together of advance into the next better stage, and the Japanese university, Japanese teachers, Japanese students to be a part of the global network is my dream and wish. And peer instruction, I believe, is a very good tool for the engagement in the global community. And for this, I would like to refuse that the peer